Hello walkers, and welcome back to City Walks on a beautiful spring day. And that is the whole point of today's walk. City Walks is the channel where I walk you around, and we depend on serendipity to find interesting and pretty and curious things, and just to explore a place. I'm gonna flip this camera around. Hold on, 1, 2, 3. Hi there, my name is Henry. I will be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide and co-discoverer. Again, I say co-discoverer because a lot of places I don't know everything there is to know. I'm not an expert, and we are discovering things together. I'm going to flip you around again. Hold on. However, we are in Livingston, Montana today, and I live here, so it's I do know this area, and I will be pointing out some things. We've walked here several times before, but it's been a few months and the seasons have changed, and we are gonna see the beautiful spring day. I posted a YouTube short the other day, and well, I'm trying to get an app to start up here. And what is it called? Instagram reel the other day, and I thought, well, why don't I just walk it? I've been sort of waiting until the trees, you can see some of these trees are just starting to leaf out, but the fruit trees are amazing. So I want to show you that. We're going to start here right near where I live. This is the Shane Center. It is a gem for the community. They do a lot of theatrical productions, movie nights, and then they have a lot of non-profit type or for-profit artistic office space, and Faye's Cafe, which is a very artistic breakfast place. And I say artistic because you just sort of pick your vibe and they make something for you. It's really kind of neat, and they do a great job. And when they're kind of out of stuff to make food, they stop for the day. Look at these trees, and I wish I could share the smell of these things. It is just fragrant. It's wonderful. This pavilion here is covered parking, but also in the summer and other times, it's an artistic event space. So they have a little stage put up. They put this whole thing up in, I think, less than a year, like 6 or 7 months. And it's it's really nice when they have, one night a week they have music in the summer. I forget which night, it's either Tuesday or Thursday, I think. And it's free, but this roof, in the summer, the sun can just be brutal at 4,500 feet of elevation. Look at more colors. So anyway, I was gonna tell you, we're gonna go downtown, and then we're gonna make our way down to the river. The water is up. It's sort of the beginning of runoff, and we'll see some flowers and park area down there. But first, our beautiful downtown. This is actually not downtown. It's the fire station and law enforcement center, the county building, a lot of different things, courthouse, all wrapped up into one. And the city building actually moved, or city government actually moved mostly out of there, I think, into a second building that they took over, which we'll pass closely to. Look at these trees. It's so so beautiful. This looks like a shed, but it's actually a memorial, or at least a Civil War cannon. Sorry. I'll see if I can get a better angle without the reflection here. These are one of the things you sort of take for granted. Let's see, there we go. I'm not really sure why it's here. I've never bothered to read it, and I'm not going to do that now. Here is the fire station, and you can see the other buildings. Courthouse is in there. We started out on E Street, made a left on Lewis, then a right, and then cut catty corner over D, and now we are on D and Calendar. These purple flowers that we see are lilacs on these bushes, and they are just starting up. There's 2 flavors here and that we get: purple, I guess maybe 3, pink maybe, and white. And they are also incredibly fragrant when they really get going here. We actually had a spring snow last weekend, and I was worried all the flowers were going to go away, but they did not. Morning.
Good morning.
Got a yoga studio over here on the right, mixed in with some residential. Then we've got a drift boat here, primarily used for fly fishing. And it looks like they have a guide tag on there, at least for the Madison River. This is going to be C Street. You can get an idea of some of the older buildings. There's the city building with the solar panels on it, and then the railroad line. So that's Highway 89 / Park Street out there, and the Montana Rail Link Rail Center. They have shops and they have switching yards and all sorts of stuff. This big building up here on the left is called the Grayboe Building. It used to be a hotel. Now I think it's apartments and some office space on the main floor here. I think these are cherry trees, the pink ones, but I'm not really sure. Can still see up over on the wine glass that we've still got snow in the mountains, and it'll be around for another month or maybe more, depends on the weather. That other large building is a former fire station, and it's now Fire Hall Fitness, and then there's some day spa and that sort of thing in there. Off to the right here, you can see the sign up front is a barbershop, Quinn's Barbershop. If you're, it's the only actual barber shop in town, but there are quite a few salons. I have to actually go get my hat, which I left in there earlier, so just hold on. And we're back. We're gonna make a right on B here. There's several shops down here, including St. John's Supply Company, which is really cool. Get in there. American Legion, Post 23 here. They do a lot for this community. In fact, my older son got a small scholarship from them, which was very much appreciated. A.D. Maddox Studios. I think he might have moved further down. And then, what else we got? First American Bank, or Big Sky Federal, across the way. Sky Federal. And off to the right here is a liquor store, and my favorite convenience store, TJ's, just because it's within easy walking distance. You can see the hillside over there as well is greening up. In April, May, June, we have something people refer to as green up. And all of a sudden, everything that was brown just kind of, it feels sudden, just goes green. And we get that for a month or so, depending on the weather, and then it goes away. This is Park Street again. And if you follow this B Street straight across, it goes down and underneath the railroad tracks. And it's one of 3 ways to get across the railroad tracks in town. And there's always been or there has been for 20 or 30 years, a lot of debate and hubbubbery about and fuss over where to put another railroad crossing. see the truck going down there. This brick building, you see the Livingston Bar and Grill. Straight ahead, the neon sign that's half illuminated. I'll talk about that in a second. But this other place, there's not a lot of places to do outdoor dining in Livingston. We just don't have enough months of the year to justify it. This is one of maybe 2 places, not counting Mark's. And it's the Fainting Goat Pub. Before that it was Glenn's. Before that it was Park Street Tavern. Before that it was the Slack Knuckle. And they get pretty crowded, but you can now, so they're doing really well. Anyway, they'll put out some umbrellas over those tables, open up the bar, and it's a great place to grab lunch or an evening cocktail. The Livingston Bar and Grill has been around for quite a while as well, and there are multiple owners and multiple incarnations. And then you've got the depot. We've walked by there several times. It's just a beautiful old building. In the summer, they convert the downstairs inside to a museum. This building across the street is nothing special. It used to be a cheap hotel. This is kind of the nice building. I love the ironwork on the pulling up these awnings. So I'm actually gonna, this is just an iconic view that we have here in Livingston. I always wish that they would get rid of these power lines. But looking down Main Street at these old historic buildings, the mountains in the distance, it's glorious. This is Wheatgrass Gifts, Books, and Art. One of 2, I think it's just 2 bookstores in town, really. I'm trying to think if there's another one. I feel like there is, but the other one is Elk River. Both of those entities bring in a lot of artists and book readings and all sorts of fun stuff. Bob's Outdoor, great place for Filson type wear, clothing, that sort of thing. This used to be, what'd they call that? Anyway, it used to be a restaurant, then they converted it to sort of a hot bar lunch place, and now I don't think they're open for lunch anymore. Love the sign on the whiskey here. Whiskey Creek Saloon. And then upstairs they have an event space as well. Off to the right in that building is Campione, a New York Times mentioned and I think James Beard contestant or nominee restaurant, Italian restaurant. And then 1900 is an event space. It's been several other things. Here is the Danforth Gallery, a non-profit art display. Great. They bring in some really cool artists in there. And then True North Cafe, great place to get coffee. Followed by the Mint, great bar and restaurant. And then this guy, I'll talk about him in a minute. How are ya?
Good, brother.
All right. He's always super friendly and happy. Nice guy. But he has that motorcycle, and sometimes he does tours for people with a sidecar, and then he is a blacksmith, and he makes artistic wrought iron things. What do we got? We got more galleries, the Frame Garden, Medicine Bird, and then the kitchen shop. If you have need of nice kitchenware, that's your place to go. I love this too. Riverside Hardware guy independently operates it, and it's actually cheaper than a lot of the chain stores. Nice guy. They don't have quite as much selection, but they do have most of what you'll need. A couple different used or pre-owned clothing and furniture stores. This one is called High Trash Boutique. I think they also own the Murray and Gills right now, the couple that owns this. You know, kind of, what do you call that? Curated, pre-owned stuff. And then this is the Vogue shop. It used to be a general store. Oh, this is Curated Closet. A very similar thing. And then Livingston Art and Culture. They're a great resource for the community in terms of children's art lessons and displaying art. And they have a plein air painting week every year, and they have events and a lot of local artists, which is really great. So. I don't know if I mentioned, but we're on Main Street here. And we're crossing Lewis again. Down that way is the Shane Center. Senior Center is apartments up top, and then a recreation area down low, as well as office spaces and blend smoothie. Drift Studio, I think, is kind of a spa and wellness place. Out of the Blue Antiques. That's a great shop if you ever get a chance to go in there. Lots of really unique and interesting curated antiques and decorative stuff. You can see it's not quite as busy down here. It's more office space down at this end. And across the way is a casino and wine bar. Started out was great. Now we went in January and they didn't have any wine. They didn't have any food. It was kind of hopefully they've gotten that sorted out. In any case, across the way, I mentioned that outdoor seating. Neptune's in the summer also has outdoor seating. They are not affiliated. They were affiliated, but now are not affiliated with the brewery, which is another great place to check out. And it's on the other end of town. But they serve kind of seafood and sushi, and they have burgers and other things as well. But it's really pretty good. And I know a lot of people don't think of Montana and sushi, but really we are a plane ride away from the coast. So, we have direct flights to Seattle every day. This is, what are we on? Clark. Goes Callender, Lewis, Clark. And we're actually going to go down this way, mainly because I don't want to walk by the high school as we film. Get a better look at Neptune's Tap House and Eatery. Oh, I do want to talk about this place. This is Will Coxon's Ice Cream, local ice cream maker, and they distribute all over the state and region. And it's good. It's good ice cream. I mean, I'm sort of biased towards Grater's ice cream out of Cincinnati. But I mean, really, it's hard to make bad ice cream. I was thinking about that the other day, because Mark's In-N-Out is open now, and I should walk you by there sometime. Look at these trees. Man, I love it. It's just a beautiful, beautiful day. Oh my gosh. Mark's has milkshakes, and I was thinking, it's kind of Mark's In-N-Out is a Livingston institution, and they close down in the winter because there's no seating other than you can sit on a little shelf there while you wait. And it's a drive-up place. And I was wondering how I would describe it to someone. This is 2nd Street. We get letters, and then on this side town we get numbers. And you can see the depot way down there. Marks. Yeah, so they are closed. So when they open in the spring, it's kind of a big deal. There are huge lines out, out front. They have very limited parking. You have to park on the street. If you want to sit down, they have some picnic tables across the main road there in the park. Grassy Park, which is a really nice place to eat your dinner, but they have burgers and fries and stuff. And of course, the In-N-Out part of that is reminiscent, will remind you of the West Coast burger chain, In-N-Out. And I think I heard, if I'm remembering this and not making it up, that they were threatened with a lawsuit by that company for the name. But Mark's has been around since the 50s, so they didn't really have a leg to stand on there. Anyway, it's for fast food, it's really good, and it's unique, and it's one of our little treats we can get. They have burgers and hot dogs, and more burgers, and they have corn dogs. And this is 3rd Street, big wide street with big cement roadway. And we'll go up here to Yellowstone, which is what we call 4th. And it's very similar, and we'll see some big houses. Nothing new if you have been a member or subscriber of this channel for a while. Speaking of which, I meant to do this earlier. I thought about it and then got distracted, as is usual. Thank you to our Patreon supporters and anybody that has helped support us with PayPal and coffee subscriptions, or payments, one-time payments. Really appreciate that, and it's so helpful and so encouraging. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Here we go. Look at this. Big old, so Livingston used to be a railroad town, and this is kind of the moneyed area where the executives lived and built their houses. And you can tell these are not massive mansions like you'd find back east or around any of the big cities, but they're big for here, and they really are beautiful. And we're going to make a left down this road, but you can see how wide it is. Out west, a lot of these towns have wide streets, and my understanding is that was done so that freight wagons and wagons with larger numbers of draft animals, look at this place, oh my gosh, they could turn around. Oh. And I just look at the tulips as well. I gotta be honest with you, the smell of this is just extraordinarily beautiful. And a little sprinkler moment here. See if we can skirt that. It's, it's only in the low to mid 60s right now, but it is extraordinarily pleasant. We get a little spoiled with our temperatures here. Maybe not spoiled, but we get used to, look at this, it's just starting to leaf out. That difference to me is interesting. Anyway, we get used to cooler temperatures, and it gets up into the 70s, and people are like, oh, okay. And then it gets in the 80s, and people really start to get fussy about the weather and complain about how hot it is, which is amusing to me because I grew up in North Carolina, and you're in the 90s, 100% humidity it seems like, and just brutally hot. And I've told this story before. Here we're coming up on Geyser. You can see we're at Yellowstone and Geyser here. When I moved out here from Arlington, Virginia, where I was living at the time. I think it was 95, 97 when the day we packed up and left, and you know, just really humid. And I got out here to Bozeman, and it was in the 90s, and then it got into the hundreds for a while, and it was so much nicer out here. No AC necessary, just open your windows at night and close them up during the day, and it was just really nice. But I love the shade of these trees. It's something psychological about the green and the shade and the respite of it all. They keep coming up with studies that show how beneficial green trees and green space is for human psychology. I think I'm saying that right. When I first started doing this channel, I thought I had to show all the big locations and famous sites and stuff. But I have found personally, for my own benefit and enjoyment, and for others I think, a lot of times just walking around a residential neighborhood is kind of a nice window into a place. And if you just are thinking about it or talking about it, oh, it sounds like it would be boring, but I find a lot of interest in at least walking around, seeing interesting houses like that thing that looks like it's from the 40s or 50s. Pretty house. Here we're coming up on the lagoon, and I'll try to get a better view of this bridge from the other side. You can see the Civic Center. That dates back a long ways, as well as to the right here in the distance across the pond is where they have the farmers market. There's a band shell up there. Also has been around for quite some time. In the winter, this freezes up and people will skate on it. It's nice, but we are not going to go that way. We are going to go this way. And I'm trying to think of the best way to go because there is something I wanted to show you. But I think we're going to go this way. This is Fleshman Creek, and it flows into the lagoon and then goes beyond. And it's silted up in recent years, and they're talking about needing to dredge it out. But it's a fun place to bring your kids because, not in the water, but we're here at Sacajawea Park. And they've got a wonderful playground. Oh, look at this tree. Oh, look at these flowers, and it smells so good. They've got tennis courts, playgrounds, horseshoe pits, soccer fields, and pavilions for picnics and just running around like wild kids. But it's a great place. You can come down here and you can feed the ducks and geese when your kids are little and they need to get out. It's a great place to walk, and if you have a stroller with your little kids. Oh, I'm smelling the warm pine right now from off to the left here, and it just is so relaxing. But they've got a bunch of these cherry trees down here too, which is why Traveling Mail actually recommended that we come down here. And I didn't promise, but I said I would try to get you a view of this bridge. We'll come down here. Try not to get too damp, but it's kind of a nice city park vibe to it, right? Cheeseburger, that's a chickadee we're hearing. Cheeseburger. Oh my goodness. Look at all that color. Even the dandelions in the lawn adding that splash of color. glorious. People might be getting their senior photos taken. It's getting to be that time of year. It's just nice to have a splash of water around too, calm water. Off to the left here is John's Pavilion. That's brand new. I'll go over there and film the kids having lunch, but it's got a couple grills, and I think you can reserve it. It was privately funded and built on city property with permission. That'll become relevant in a little bit here. But look at these cherry trees. And then, so it's not unusual, it's not unheard of to be down here and see a moose. Oh, that's not a moose, but wading around here feeding on the willows. But look, this is our first set of little goslings. These are Canada goose goslings. Oh, and that is, I don't want to scare them or bother them too much, but they sure are cute little balls of fluffy feathers. Anyway, we get moose here in town, and lost my sunglasses. And you definitely want to give them some space, but they usually just want to be left alone. And then I think there's some beavers that have lived down here. Oh my gosh, you guys, let's go in here. Just the colors and the smells and the light. That sound that I think sounds like blackbirds. Yeah, red-winged blackbirds. There's some grackles around as well. There you go. Sorry. Little blackbird up there. I don't like to wave you guys around too much. I know that if you're walking on a treadmill, that can be somewhat disconcerting. And I don't want to do that, so I apologize. Look at this. Oh. What a wonderful time of year. There's a blackbird as well. A little red, a little yellow next to the red as well on the wings. This is the 7th Street Bridge. It's a pedestrian bridge. They replaced an old decrepit bridge, and it's very nice. But I think within the first year or so, there was a big cottonwood tree that fell on it, and you can see they've repaired it, but it's just a little bit bent on the railing down there. The different colors of pink too are interesting. I think they're different trees. That seems a little darker than these other ones. Now, you can see here, maybe, the water is flowing through here. That's because the runoff is creating enough water to flow through here, but it gets pretty stagnant in the summer when things dry up. There's different colors within that tree. And a big fluffy white one as well. I will get you off to the left. Here is this big hedgerow of, I think it might be forsythia. I'm not really great about my plant IDs. In any case, there's a bunch of kids playing over there, so we'll let them do their thing, which includes screaming, as kids will do. It's very peaceful in here, but I have to imagine that in the summer, in the warmer weather anyway, there's just a ton of mosquitoes. All right, we're gonna cut through the park so I can show you a pavilion and a couple other things. Little magpie on the ground. You can see some playground equipment over there as well. Quite old, some of it. And here's the octagonal pavilion. And, oh no, it's still there. I thought maybe they'd taken out the other pavilion. Somebody's ridden their bikes down here. You can reserve these for parties. And you can see a lot of these trees are still not leafing out. I've mentioned that before. I think these are willow trees, but they might be cottonwoods. Or maybe those are cottonwoods over there. We're gonna go over here and take a look at the river. I mentioned the water is up. It's not near flood stage or anything, but it's definitely higher than it was last week. Warm weather mixed in with heavy precipitation last week on the snowpack is, I think this is called River Road. Down that way is 9th Street, and down this way is the Pavilion and Park and Community Center. But you can see the water is flowing quite strongly. Across this channel is 9th Street Island, and this little channel, the western channel here, is flowing quite nicely right now, but it gets really slow, so it's actually a lot of fun for the kids to go out and play, and dogs. And then you've got this big gravel bar here, and it provides a little bit more access to another little island down here. But this little bit comes in, and then another channel that I'll show you in a bit comes in and creates an area which is great for swimming. The only downside is you got to climb down the riprap to get there. You don't have to, but that's how I think most people do it. What we're on right now is an old levee, and they're talking about how, or that we had in 2022, we had a big flood. People were down here loading this thing up with sandbags. In places, the water was up, about to flow over, and they were able to sandbag it enough that it did, and the levee never failed. But someone, one of the local residents who has a civil engineering degree and expertise, mentioned that she didn't think that this was really structurally sound and at risk of failure. So they're talking about what they need to do in that. When the water in the summer, this is quite low, and you can just walk over to that side, wade over where you need to. Of course, every year it shifts and meanders, but out where the low willows are, that is the island, little island I was talking about, and you right about here, things slow down. There'll be lots of shade. It's nice, and then kind of where those two currents meet, down from there is the swimming area, or where you can swim. You can swim anywhere you want, but that's where. But and there's the farmers market area. But I want to show you something, and that is this flagpole. Well, first of all, Memorial Day, which maybe I'll do a little walk here. Then they put up all these flags. They have a ceremony down here. The VFW, etc., does a ceremony. It's really nice. But this flagpole, this is sort of a little pocket park, and in the 1990s, the city put up, and the VFW, I think, was one of the organizations involved. They put up a flagpole and a little memorial for the men and women who served in Desert Storm. About, I don't know, I want to say 5-10 years ago, there was, the base of it cracked, and the city said, well, this thing could fall and hurt somebody, so they took it out. And then they wanted to do all sorts of things, and the city has been, I don't know, actively dragging its feet, but it hasn't been acting. And it's been the source of some consternation. At one point, they wanted to, the city manager wanted to put a, gosh, I think it was a 200-foot flagpole, a 20-foot wide flag and a pole to support it, and it was going to be inordinately expensive. In any case, that didn't happen. But a couple days ago, or yesterday, I can't remember, the VFW and the American Legion and a couple other groups got together, and they just came down here and put another one up. Put up a flagpole with a flag, and stopped bothering to ask for permission. And I just think that's kind of great. You know, it's, if it had been, there's a lot of reasons to complain about that. You don't really want to set the standard of people ignoring governmental processes, but I feel like the city had its chance to say yes or no, and they didn't. So I applaud the folks. I personally applaud the folks that did that. That's my perambulation pontification for the day. So we have these tennis courts, and they were redone recently, and they are beautiful, really well done, really nice asset. I'm a little surprised that with the popularity of pickleball, they haven't created any pickleballs, because there's two courts, because there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 tennis courts, and it just has not fallen. I don't think it's any kind of particular resistance, but just not enough demand for whatever reason. Okay, well, we have been walking and I have been talking, and I just want to thank you for joining me. Here's a little wood duck house, Cub Scout Pack 3552 created. Thank you for joining me here in Livingston, Montana, allowing me to show you around our beautiful town, especially with all the wonderful spring flowers and spring weather and mountains, snow-capped mountains and all sorts of stuff. So thank you. Check out citywalksvirtualtours.com if you want to find city walks by length and walk. And I don't know if I ever told you, but it was 62 degrees Fahrenheit, 7 degrees Celsius, and we started about 10:45. So, all right, we will see you again soon, next week. Until then, keep on stepping.